If you're here because you have a newborn, first of all, congratulations. I am so excited that you are growing your family, and this is a really exciting time for you as parents. However, I can also guess that you're probably exhausted and you found my video because you're desperate to get longer stretches of sleep for your newborn. And that's what I'm here to teach you. Let's talk about all the ways to get longer stretches of newborn sleep for your baby who's the ages of 0 to 16 weeks old. Hi, my name is Sarah Baglio, and I am a certified pediatric sleep consultant and owner of Your Zen Baby Sleep. I have helped hundreds of families one-on-one find the sleep that they so need and deserve. And I started this journey because of the phase that you are in, because of the newborn phase. So this was a really hard time for me as a mom, and I'm gonna get personal and vulnerable here. My least favorite time. And I don't mean to say that to you to scare you or make you feel like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I mean to say it to you because if you are feeling like that, if there's any little hint of, gosh, this is really challenging and I'm not really sure what I got myself into, please know that it's normal and that other moms have felt it too. And I set out on a mission to help families understand more about their children's sleep so that their children can get healthy developmental sleep, but their parents can also benefit from that as well so that they can get the sleep that they need and deserve too, so that everybody in the house can be well rested. Sleep deprivation was so challenging for me. I was previously, in my pre-kid life, a really heavy sleeper. I loved sleep. Don't we all? I loved getting a solid 9 or 10 hours of sleep. And I used to be a teacher, so I spent 15 years in the special education classrooms. So I was up early, meaning, you guessed it, I was like in bed and asleep by 9 o'clock most nights, and I would sleep straight through the night. So when my oldest daughter came and I was up every 2 or 3 hours feeding her, what I thought was that, oh, it's going to be easy. I'm going to pop a bottle in her mouth. She'll feed for 20 or 30 minutes. She'll go back to sleep. I'll go back to sleep. It won't be a big deal. What ended up happening, like many parents, my circadian rhythms were really thrown off, and my cortisol and adrenaline, because of all the stress of this new life that I so loved that I was responsible for, I had a lot of trouble going back to sleep in the middle of the night. And this led me to really do a lot of research on what was healthy for our children's sleep and how we could prioritize that as a family in a healthy and developmental way so that I could prioritize my sleep, because really I was the center of the family unit at the time. She was so dependent on me, and if I wasn't functioning, how was I going to take care of everybody else? So this is one of those really cliche things to say, but you have to put your oxygen mask on first. You need to be the person who is really feeding into yourself and to your energy so that you can take care of all of these other people in your life, especially that tiny little precious newborn that you're likely holding at 2 in the morning while you're watching this YouTube video. So how can we prioritize your sleep, and then what can we do to get their sleep to elongate just a little bit more in those early weeks and months of the newborn phase? So while we're talking about practicing the pause, what I also want to talk about is what your sleep environment looks like during those pauses and during those evening hours. From bedtime, which I know isn't really set or established, it's going to be a wide range, but from the evening hours when you determine like it is time for our longer stretches of sleep, which usually in the newborn stage is somewhere around 9 or 10 o'clock. I want the lights to be off. I want it to be completely dark. I don't want night lights on. I don't want red lights on, okay? I don't want the salt lamp on. I want it to be completely dark so that your child understands the difference between nighttime and daytime. This is really going to help their circadian rhythm grow and develop if we're keeping it dark at night and if we're keeping it light during the day. And also in those pauses, let's say you do need to tend to your child and it is a night feeding, or maybe you know that you need to change a diaper. Keep those lights and those interactions really low. It is all business at that time. We're gonna feed, we're gonna change, we're gonna put back in the bassinet, and we're all gonna go back to sleep. This is not the time to rustle up and sing and talk to. We wanna be really clear and concise that nighttime is for sleeping and for taking care of anything necessary for your nutrition or your health and your safety, and the daytime is for all of that other growth and development stuff. A second thing that can help you that is environmental is incorporating a white noise machine. So you may have received one from your baby shower, and it may be the Hatch brand or the Yoga Sleep brand, and the tone that I want you to set it on is just pure white, brown, or pink noise. And this is going to be the best for blocking out background sounds for both of you, right? So that maybe you're not listening as much to your baby's grunting and moaning, and they're not hearing the background noise of the room that they are sharing with their parents. One thing that you can do with the help of your pediatrician and or lactation consultant, if you are working with one, is to really bulk up on calories during the daytime in order to make sure that the bulk of our calories are taken in those 12 waking hours during daylight. And then we can be more confident that our babies can go maybe a 3, maybe even a 4, gosh, should I even say a 5-hour stretch at nighttime, if we know that they're taking the majority of their calories during the daytime. So let's say that's our goal. We really want to work consciously on those frequent daytime feedings in order to stretch out our nighttime feeds. What we can do as we are working on stretching out nighttime feedings is using the soothing ladder, the newborn soothing ladder, in order to help baby get back to sleep without necessarily using a feeding. So let me set up a scenario for you. Again, let's go back to that. I went to bed at 10 o'clock and at 11:30 the baby woke up, and I actually know that they are not hungry because an hour and a half isn't even the stretch that they usually do during the daytime. So I've practiced the pause and it's been a minute or two, and now they're getting to that fussy part, right? So now I know I need to tend to them. So I'm gonna tend to them using a incremented scale of support, being from least involved to most involved. So what do I mean by that? The first thing that I might do is just listen, like I have, right? I'm gonna listen with my presence. Then the next thing I might do is let them know that I'm there by going shh, 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 or using my voice. They love your voice. They've been around your voice for 9 months. They love hearing it, and it can be very soothing. So it's okay, baby, mama's here, I'm right here. And then practice and listen for their response. And you're gonna spend about 15 to 30 seconds at each step of the soothing ladder. And then if they're still not calm after the verbal reinforcement, what I want you to do is go to the next step. Maybe you go over and jostle the bassinet a little bit. We're giving them a little bit of motion, okay? If they're in a snoo or an automatic motion bassinet, then they're gonna be doing this naturally through the automatic motion, right? So maybe you then put your hand on the baby. So again, another 30 seconds where you're putting your hand over the baby and soothing from belly, or rubbing the face or rubbing the head. And if they're still not calming, then you're gonna go to the next step, which may be putting a pacifier in if you are using a pacifier. And if they're still not calming after 30 seconds, then we pick up. So then we can pick the baby up and we can rock a little bit, we can soothe, we can sway. If they're calm, then we place back down in the bassinet. And we might get to a place where when we're practicing that enough and they understand that there's other ways to be soothed and tended to without feeding to sleep, they might actually drift back off into the sleep and successfully transition those sleep cycles. If at any point in the soothing ladder you get to a spot where they actually do calm down, so let's say hand on belly actually calms them down, you don't need to go to the rest of the ladder. You can remove your support from there and go back to sleep. And with practice over time, this soothing ladder, it's going to let them know that they can teach themselves to put themselves back to sleep. Remember, they are too little at this age to sleep train. This is not sleep training. This is just capitalizing on what is going on naturally in their body, which is a sleep cycle transition and a very appropriate response from mom and dad. You are supporting, you are helping, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a feeding in those time periods. Let's do a little recap. What I want you to do to work on longer stretches of sleep at nighttime is set up a really great environment. I want you to make sure you have a safe sleep space with white noise and a swaddle that's very, very dark. And I only want a red dim light used in absolute necessary circumstances where we're changing diapers or we need to make sure that the baby is latching appropriately. I also want to make sure that you are practicing the pause. Remember, your baby is a noisy sleeper and transitions through sleep cycles a lot and may not be able to be super nice and quiet and settled throughout the whole night. So if you hear them fussing or if you hear them moaning or groaning or grunting, don't feel the need to get up and react. Practice the pause, give yourself 30 seconds to a minute or 2 minutes to see what they need, to allow them to tell you what to do in that moment. And if they are requiring something of you, I would love for you to practice the soothing ladder if it is not a scheduled feeding time. If it has been shorter than the amount of time you usually have in between your child's feeding. And finally, throughout the daytime, make sure that you're giving them lots of good full feeds so that they will be able to naturally stretch out their nighttime sleep and you can get longer stretches of sleep as a result. If you've tried to implement these changes after a week or so and you still find yourself struggling with increasing the amount of time that your newborn is sleeping at nighttime, I encourage you to go check out my website. I work with newborn families all of the time. I actually have specific packages for newborn sleep support, and I would love to help support your family. Feel free to book a call on there so that we can chat and I can assess your sleep situation and let you know which package I think is going to be the best for you. Did you love this video? Make sure to let me know by pressing the like button and leave any questions that you have for me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can get all of my awesome sleep tips, and be sure to turn on notifications so you're the first to know of my weekly sleep content when it's posted. From my living room to yours, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.